Right now, the story that broke earlier this afternoon, this is a win, finally, for universities here in Montreal. McGill and Concordia both involved. You may remember back when the provincial government, of course, decided to impose those tuition hikes on out-of-town students, language requirements as well. And it didn't take long afterward for both universities to say, we have to challenge this. So it'll be a legal challenge. Well, it turns out today there has been a decision by a Quebec court overturning the new requirement that 80% of out-of-province undergraduate students at English language universities reach an intermediate level of proficiency in French by the time they graduate. And of course, the other part concerns that extra tuition. The increase of 33%, that has been ruled unreasonable and based on limited data. But the government is not completely lost here. They have 9 months to appeal. We wanted to get to a chance to figure out how this is going to play out. Graham Carr is president and, of course, vice-chancellor at Concordia University. Graham, I remember when we talked about this at the time, trying to figure out what was going to be the next step. Then it was a matter of let's challenge this. Today, we consider this a victory.
Hi, Aaron. Well, I guess I don't. Yes, it's obviously very reassuring for us that the judge has come out with a decision which essentially vindicates key arguments which Concordia and McGill had made, namely that the policies that the government had introduced with respect to increasing tuition for students from the rest of Canada and the requirement for 80% Francisization of graduating students was unreasonable and not based on solid evidence. So I feel relief and reassurance that the judge has arrived at that decision.
Okay, and I'm sensing you're not overjoyed, not by the tone of your voice, because there is an appeal process here potentially, right? How does that work?
Well, to be honest, Aaron, I'm not overjoyed because of this is a process that was perfectly avoidable. Going back to the beginning, we were blindsided by the government with its announcement of the original version of these policies with regard to tuition for the rest of Canada students. We were blindsided on the 80% number. So I'm not happy. I'm not pleased that we had to go through this process. It was really a last resort for us and our board to make the decision to seek recourse through the courts. So it's not a cause for joy. It is a cause for relief. We will see what happens. Our understanding, and obviously we're still reviewing a very lengthy judgment. Our understanding is that the policy on Francisization is completely overturned, and that with respect to the tuition for rest of Canada students, that stays in effect for up to 9 months, but that the government has been instructed to review the policy and revise it.
So you have a new year starting, a new semester starting in the fall. How does this change anything?
So I don't think this materially changes anything for us in terms of registrations or in terms of what students will be expected to pay. We were already compensating students from the rest of Canada by offering them scholarships to offset the tuition increase. So it's not providing any relief immediately in that sense. My hope, Aaron, and I mean this in all sincerity, is that reflecting on the policy, the government will now be willing to sit down, not just with Concordia and McGill, but with the whole university sector, hit the reset button, and figure out how we can collaborate in a genuine fashion going forward to strengthen and ensure the thriving and sustainability of the higher education system in Quebec. This is a pivotal moment for higher education, not just in Quebec, but elsewhere as we see. We've built a very powerful world-class network in Quebec. Concordia is a huge part of that. And I would hope that on the basis of this judgment, there's a new spirit of collaboration that we can seek to achieve.
I understand the hope. I wonder, up until now, there's not been much from the government, whether it's been the Premier, whether it's been Pascal Derry, who's the Minister of Higher Education, to indicate that they have any desire to change anything. Why would this make a difference, do you think?
Well, I think, obviously it's a serious measure to go to the courts. I think the court judgment and the language that the judge has used is pretty decisive. I'm sure that the Attorney General's office is, as our lawyers are, reviewing the judgment at this point, and a political decision will have to be made. We have said from the beginning of this process that we believe that strong public policy needs to be based on data, based on evidence. That was one of the things which was missing from this whole conversation. Yeah. Well, to the extent there was a conversation, and I think at this moment in time, I really do hope that government reflects on this and looks to go forward in a new way.
Listen, I wish you the best. You take any small victory, if we can call it that, as a positive sign. Let's hope it does lead to something changing in the government, recognizing perhaps that, okay, it's time to reinvest or to relook at this, if you will. Graham, I think...
And Aaron, if I can just say, it isn't just the anglophone institutions. This particular judgment affects us, but there are a series of government policies right now that are hurting the network, and I think we need to seize this moment to try and do better for the future of Quebec universities and for the future of Quebec society and the economy.
Graham, thank you so much. Best of luck to you. Hope we can talk about this further down the line when things have gotten better. Graham Carr, President, Vice-Chancellor of Concordia University.